Can you hear us? Hey Deep, are we live now? Deep, you are on mute, and I think you need to add me to the panelists right now. It's only you visible on YouTube. Awesome. Cool. Hi Deep, I think finally we have solved the glitch and we are live.
Yes, yes. Are you able to hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. And basically, thank you everyone for the patience and thank you for joining us today. I think without any further delay, let's get started with this wonderful journey of 45 minutes at what we have planned here today. Uh, AI has completely transformed on how brands think about content creation, right? What once used to take weeks of planning, production, shoots, post processing, and what not can now happen in hours. But while AI has unlocked this incredible speed and creative possibilities, industries like jewelry come with their own unique challenges. And today we are going to explore what actually works, what doesn't work, and how jewelry brands can use AI effectively without compromising on quality, trust, or storytelling. And to help us unpack all of this, we have Deep Banerjee, founder of Lamina. And as Deep has put it, Lamina is a creative operating system for commerce that enables brands to access frontier AI models from a single platform and build custom workflows and applications which are tailored to your specific creative and marketing needs. So, welcome, Deep. Excited to have you with us here today. Right.
Thank you so much, Akhil. It's a pleasure to do this. And you rightly said, jewelry as a category is a very, uh, you know, uh, it's quite different than most other categories. If you don't get your creatives right, if you don't get the visuals right, uh, you know, uh, it just doesn't work. And it's a high ticket purchase as well. So most of the times when consumers are viewing, there has to be no question regarding trust, right? And I think that's the core of where experiments with AI in the field of jewelry has either worked out really well or not at all, uh, because trust is important. And of course, AI today is much different than what it was, say, 6 months back or even a year back. But if the outputs are not truly aligned to the brand, truly accurate to the product, and truly something that doesn't invoke the question whether or not it's being generated with AI, but rather communicates what any creative at the end of the day should communicate, which is the brand's message to its customers. How they want to be perceived, and what sort of emotions they want to invoke. If there's any questions beyond that, then it breaks. So at Lamina, as you said, Lamina is a platform where one can build custom workflows and applications for their specific teams, incorporating their own brand guidelines, their own brand identity, and we've taken this platform to multiple brands now. A lot of them have started using it in the category of jewelry, and that has given us a unique perspective to figure out which directions to scale, and then what are the different things or different pitfalls where things may go wrong. And would just love to have a very open-ended conversation around that. And got a couple of examples as well, so we'll try to plug those in whenever relevant.
Got it. I think there's one thing I just want to point out. You just mentioned that one of the biggest concerns with this AI creatives, what I'm getting, is that they often look overly too polished or
Right.
plastic might, right? And for jewelry brands where luxury and craftsmanship is like everything, that can be a major challenge. So can you
Absolutely.
tell us like how can brands use AI to create visuals that feel premium, authentic, and luxurious rather than some obviously AI
I
slop?
think I think those are very, those are three different dimensions, and one could optimize for all of them or specifically for any one of them, depending on the positioning, depending on the channel on which the creative that we're working on would go, right? Um, what happens most of the times is that we try to recreate AI imagery the same way we would do it in a studio, where we mostly go with soft lighting, we mostly go with no hard shadows, etc. And what ends up happening is, of course, when you're in the studio, you're using very high quality cameras, and you've got trained professionals who know how to kind of capture what moment, mid movement, the emotions, the expressions. But when you try to do something similar but you end up not really prompting that well, you get something which looks very boring, for a lack of a better word. It ticks all the boxes. Your product is visible, you have a model wearing the product, they're looking at the camera, the model is fairly, if depending on the category again, but a beautiful model looking at the camera, so everything, all the boxes are ticked. And yet somehow the creative doesn't feel alive, or it doesn't feel real. And now
Hmm.
that we're no longer in the world where people are not aware that AI can be used to create content. So today, when somebody looks at those kind of visuals, the first question or the first statement that comes to their mind is, oh, this is an AI generated image. And the moment that happens, there's a lot of trust related question that comes into the picture. Now, we're not at all saying that one has to hide, but again, what could be possible is to create content which doesn't scream AI as such, which
Uh,
looks natural. And one of the ways that we've been able to, and there are multiple ways, by the way, but one of the ways that we've been able to solve that is to really fine tune the lighting with which we're generating the output. And I would just like to kind of, show a couple of examples just to, drive this home.
yeah,
If
I
if you
yeah,
could.
we can see your screen clearly.
Yeah, so this is the Lamina platform, by the way. I have a couple of examples that I curated today just to talk about it. So, and this will be very fast, right? So this is one input image. This is what we want to kind of, generate a model shot of, right? And I'll show you a couple of examples where it looks a bit plasticky, a bit fake, this or this, for example, where, they're looking at us, the product is visible, the model is a very elegant model, so every all the boxes are ticked, but still, and this is not a bad output to not have on your catalog at all. This probably could be one of the images that you have on there, but this does not communicate any emotion. This does not invoke a look, or this does not tell the onlooker how this would look in a real life scenario. So
Okay.
compare this with some of the other examples that we have. For example, this one, where we have a mild sunlight on the woman, on the model, where we have the jewelry piece itself kind of reacting to that light, where the environment is no longer a white environment but a suggestive environment. She looks like she's in some a living room. It's not very clear, but at the same time it's not vague. And I think these sort of outputs, when we scale with our clients using AI, they often convert much better than the standard ones which everybody has, right? And this is
Got it.
something that we'll talk about it. You can also take this same dimension and then bring in your own brand identity towards it.
Got it. By the
And
way,
similar.
before,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt, but
No, no, no.
this I have used a lot of other tools, but this is looking a little complex though. But this is seeming like to work a lot. If you can just jump on a
Not really.
little,
That's a fairly good question. So, what's happening here, if I could spend just about 15
yes,
seconds on it, right?
yes, please,
So, this is the image input, which is nothing but uploading from your system. And then
yes,
what's happening is this image input is basically being connected to all these different nodes, and these are nothing but image generator nodes. So, you have
got
all
it.
the greatest models over here. So, we've selected Nano Banana Pro for all of these. And
Awesome.
what's different, the only thing that's different is the prompt, which is over here, right?
Noted.
And I can also show you that here, as you can see, the environment is talking about a white gradient, and this is also good, no shadows, high quality, very high detail and everything. So you're getting this from that. And
Got
the
it.
only
Got it.
difference between that and this one would be a small change where we're talking about a bright sunlit living room with cream colored walls, sunlight on the skin and body. So this is probably less complex, and yet it's driving better outputs, right?
Absolutely. So when I said that, I just mean to say getting this granularity in a tool is absolutely not possible at all in any other tool. So this is amazing to see. Over to
And then
you.
you
I
can,
think. Yeah.
test out different things. You can put them side by side. So that's the beauty of Lamina. It's like a playground for you to test out whatever you want.
Yeah, yeah, I have been trying though. It was just for the audience. I now I'm a fairly expert in this, and I think I've created the Kumar trend with this. But it's awesome. So over to you. Let's if you want to maybe talk something more. Otherwise, I have
No, no,
another
I think
question for
that's
you.
pretty much it. So once you take care of the lighting, I just want to show one more thing for, just 10 more seconds. So if this is the prompt for the video, which is the next step usually, right? Once you have a image, then you have to kind of, you generate videos from there. And people often do a lot of, complicated prompts and everything. But once you have a good enough, input image that looks realistic,
Hmm.
something as simple as slow camera orbit and the model poses gets you an output like this, where the movements are, it's a bit slow, but it's natural, and the hair looks absolutely, silky, the way real life hair looks. And then
Yeah.
this is the quality that you instantly elevate yourself to. Of course, with a better prompt, you can have better movement and more intricate options. But just by having that one thing changed in your workflow, you end up with outputs that are at a different level of realism. And that, you look at this and you won't question whether or not this is AI. You'd question, okay, how is that jewelry looking? Is it going to suit me? that's
Yeah.
that's the question you would want your audience to ask, right?
Got it. So I think what you have clearly mentioned now, we have a pipeline that gives us human looking real content. But now one of the most important question is, still I need to see whether this works or something else works. So basically, is it possible for jewelry brands to experiment and scale these lifestyle content production quickly without compromising on quality and brand standards? And also, kind of, I don't want to be dependent on like these many complicated prompts. How is that
Right.
scalable? If you can maybe
I,
give
I
some.
I guess you're talking about lifestyle shoot as in non-model shoots, right? Just the jewelry itself. So
Yes,
definitely,
yes,
I think
absolutely.
that was that was a fairly big challenge for us, because the jewelry by itself also needs to be showcased quite beautifully. And it's possible with AI. Today we know that, nobody's questioning the fact that, whether or not it's possible.
Hmm.
You get prompts available on the internet. I mean, social media, there are a lot of people selling prompts, like, just comment something and I'll send you the prompt, stuff like that. So of course, those are all good ways to, do it. But the thing is, you wouldn't always have prompts readily available, or you wouldn't always, even if you're a great prompter. uh, I mean, I do a lot of, prompt engineering myself, but you cannot do it at all times. You need to have a certain mindset. You need to cool yourself down, sit down and really think through what you want, and that's not possible during the course of your work day, right? So what do you do there? So there again, I think, what has helped is, we've leveraged AI, but a little bit differently. What we've created is a system for our clients where one thing that brand managers love to do is curate mood board images, right? So they go on to platforms like Pinterest and Pixabay and Pexels, and there's a lot of platforms, and they curate good looking images which they feel are aligned to their brand, although the product in those images are different, and that's completely fine, right? In the earlier days, those would be the input for an agency to do the shoots and everything. What we're saying is, today you can bring them as an input, have an AI quickly learn the composition from those, and then generate as many outputs as you want, but with the context of your product, right? So again, I'll just use Lamina to quickly showcase that, very, very quickly. So let me just share my screen once again, and we're going to go to a different section here. So this again might look a little bit complicated, but it's absolutely a very simple workflow that we're doing. We're going to focus on this corner. So these are the 4 mood board images for a ring. Imagine I'm a, brand manager for and I need to kind of create images for this ring for my social media. And I've curated 4 images, one with a glass background, one in the forest or something, one on the rocks, and one on velvet. Now I'm not a very good brand manager, so my curation just is a ticking the box of different kind of backgrounds. But imagine this is what we are starting with, right? What we're doing is, on Lamina, you have the option to call different LLMs, your favorite LLM. So my favorite for general purpose is GPT 5.1. So I've set GPT 5.1 and I've given a not a creative prompt, but a very simple system prompt. And if you just read through it in 5 seconds,
Hmm.
you're getting 4 images for a mood board. Your context is this is a product aesthetic short creation project, and your job is to create 10 unique image generation prompts for an AI image generator, right? And
Okay.
then you have some basic guardrails that the product should look exactly like image one. Output should resemble the product. You just putting those reinforcements in your prompt that everything should be proper. And one thing you're saying that the composition should be driven by the mood board, but the colors must be driven by the product itself, right? This is something simple. This is something you and I, the amount of chatting that we do with chat gpt and claude, it is the same level of prompting. It's not like more complicated than that. What happens is, with just this, you are now creating 10, or we are creating 10 here, you could have created 20, right? So 10 different prompts. And these are small prompts. These do not yet have the context of the product. So what we're doing is we're uploading the product image again, just like the last one. We're connecting them with individual GPT 5.1 nodes. And now, if I just zoom in a little bit, this is the same prompt copy pasted across all the 10 different nodes, where we're saying that refine prompt number one, refine prompt number two, so on and so forth, with the similar rules and guardrails that we just put there. So we're just reinforcing the prompts once again. And once we do that, we get these outputs, which are prompts. And then, similar to the last one, we feed them into Nano Banana Pro, which is kind of like the industry standard right now. And
Hmm.
those prompts are coming in from the AI nodes itself, and we're getting the outputs. Now, just to show you how fast this is, because this will save a lot of people a lot of time, I'm just going to run it, Akhil, in front of you, and within a minute or two we'll have 10 images ready. So here we
Awesome.
go. So we're going to
Let,
run this one.
let me start the timer. Yes, please do.
We're going to run this one, which is the primary generator of the 10 prompts.
Yes.
This is going to take a little bit of time, but once this is done, then the rest is just
Let's count.
dominoes.
Yeah. Got it. So I think meanwhile this is running, I was just thinking of one more thing.
Yeah,
When
so
you are talking about these jewelries, right? I think how do you ensure super like accurate size,
yeah,
proportions, product fidelity, and still kind of leverage AI for creative content? If you can maybe just shine some light on that topic as well.
absolutely. So, product fidelity and accuracy is something that has been fixed. I mean, even in this system, just referring, providing a reference image for Nano Banana Pro and mentioning that, hey, the product in your output must resemble the product in your input with 100% accuracy, which is like general, conversation that we have with our designers, in a non AI era. Uh, and the same level of conversation you need to have in your prompts. You need to just add that one line, and I think that's majorly a very solved area. I think challenge where the area where it still is challenging is to get the scale right, because and that happens because most of the times the inputs don't include any sort of sense of scale. So the AI doesn't know whether the pendant is a very small tiny little pendant, or it's a large gemstone, that's a size of a huge button or something. So we have to provide that context somehow, and I have a system separate which might be able to answer this question, Akhil. But just to show you, while we were having this conversation, we
Yeah.
have 10 sets of new images ready in a matter
Wow.
of seconds.
Yeah.
So if you
Under a
if you
minute.
see, a matter of minutes, yeah. So
Yeah.
and these are all
Wow.
correct in terms of the product accuracy, but the compositions, you can see, they're inspired by the inputs, but they're also new. They're not like replacing the product from an existing photo with a new product. These are new, and these are usable. Now imagine this is the speed at which people are creating today, and it's only going
Yeah.
to get better from now. So yeah, I mean, we just have a lot of
And
input for this particular
this
product's social page now, and everything
absolutely.
looks
So
stunning.
I so sorry to cut you, Deepa, but this is brilliant. I had been using this for different purposes, but right now I think initially we used to think, okay, there is some idea, how are we gonna create it? But Lamina is just making everything seamless and feasible. Uh,
And you didn't do any creative prompt. You didn't say that I need the lighting from here and
exactly,
the
you have
shadows from here and
optimized
all of that.
the prompt for me as well. Lamina is also acting like a an expert brand manager for me, and any brand manager can create expert content like this. So now, with that in mind, now let's say you already have, I believe, like dozens of clients with you're working with in this. How do I stand out? If you can tell me, as a jewelry brand, or when I'm using AI to maintain distinctive visual identity, and like trying to have a consistent brand story, like how can I just do that to set myself apart from everyone else out there?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think before we get into the brand identity, because that's a bit of a, I think, broad subject matter, and we would like to kind of end with that. I just want to show. You mentioned scale, right? So, just a small example. Here, there is no scale reference. This we I don't know. Looking at it, how large it is, and the same goes for an AI. You'll get something like this, but with the same prompt you'll get something like this where the product looks bigger, right? Because there is no scale. And the very simple way of fixing that, what we kind of tell our clients to set up their workflows with, is to have at least one image where you have it
Got
on
it.
a particular person, right? Then
Got it.
what you get is ability to scale across different models, different settings, different looks, etc. But your scale kind of remains consistent, and that's the only difference. There's no hidden mystery behind it. It just you have to provide the right information to get the right kind of output.
So
Now,
basically, if a jewelry brand wants to work with you, they just need to have a basic level of checklist, certain
even
items.
something like holding the jewelry on your fingers, on your hand,
What some
gives
real
you a sense of scale. So something real life that we know how big or small they are, and just have the jewelry besides that, right? Dimensions don't work that way. If you say that jewelry is 10 centimeters or 10 millimeters long, that may not convert to a good looking output or an accurate output, but a visual reference works tremendously better.
got it, got it. I think interesting. I have some questions from the users as well, and uh, just a quick time check. We have another 7 minutes,
Sure.
um,
Yeah.
uh,
I
and
think you spoke about the brand identity, right?
yeah, I
So
think
I'll
one
just
we've
very
got
briefly.
one question around the same
Oh,
as well.
sure.
So you can just
Yeah.
talk about it.
Yeah.
So it is exactly same. How to stand out in this world of era, world of AI. How to look into that.
Well, it's no different than what we used to do earlier, right? So when say you do a photo shoot, you're probably
Yes.
hiring the same team as another brand, but your outputs look different than theirs. And why is that? Because your lighting is different, the models that you select are different, their makeup is different, right? The locations are different or something like that. And I think with AI, it's just those things that will help you achieve your differentiated look. It's just that you will have to be cognizant of it while building out your systems. And I have a couple of examples here. So, this is the same product. If you see here, this is the same product which have been, used to create different types of images with different lighting. Right? This is a very flat one. It's a daytime, plain background. So this has a certain emotion that it will invoke for a client, for a consumer, but this will invoke probably a different kind of emotion. It's a more moody kind of a setup with a homely kind of a natural or real candid image taken of somebody sitting in their living room or something like that. And this is not a living room, but again a quite moody. So the idea is that now that you have figured out how to showcase my product correctly and how to make sure that that my models look real, now the game is back to what it used to be. What sort of clothing they should be wearing, what sort of environment they should be sitting in, what sort of lighting are we going to use. And these are just single sentences. If you just put in your systems, in your prompts, in your LLM nodes, in system instructions like we saw recently, that will create a differentiated look, and then you can, I keep iterating on that, and arrive at something that really works for you. Lock that in on a platform like Lamina, and use it over and over again. As I said, every time if you bring in a new product, the outputs will be driven by the product, but some of the guardrails will remain, and those becomes your brand identity. Another example is, so yeah, we saw this one, and we saw something like this which is more moody, and then we have something like this which is more bright and slightly different. One more thing that we do a lot of times is we create AI influencers or AI models for our brands. So these are essentially models that that we've worked with. These are not the ones that are currently active on any of our clients, but these are all different models. They are all created using AI,
Got
and you can have them appear based on which one feels more aligned with your
it.
identity.
As I think this, the more you're talking about it, I think it's the of basically the ocean is so vast and the possibilities are endless in this, right? I think we have got one more question from one of our users, which is which models are you using for, let's say, jewelry cataloging versus social marketing? Like, it's like, are you using any specific models focused on this, or is this a generic one?
I think from a image generation perspective, right now the industry is very happy with Nano Banana Pro.
Okay,
Uh, and it gets the job done. It's not extremely costly, but it's also not very cheap. But depending on how you're using it, but it's the most, I would say, prompt adherent model out there, which understands real world physics, real world lighting quite well, and it understands natural language prompting quite well. So you don't really have to create a very complicated prompt for it to understand what you're aiming for. You can just speak to it in a very natural language, and that helps us as well when we configure these flows for our clients. The system instructions are also not something that they need our help to update as their requirements keep changing. They can just come in and update it using natural language, and usually that's more than sufficient. There's
great.
this just that's very good for image generation today.
Hmm.
And in terms of video, I think 90% of the use cases where you don't have intricate speaking moments where somebody is interacting with the camera, etc. If you just have posing and lighting needs to be proper, things sparkling, stuff like that. I think the range of Kling 2.5, 2.6, and Kling 3 are amazing. They are all available within Lamina, and you can pick and choose. For your more costly or premium categories, you can choose Kling 3. For the others, you can choose 2.5. But we've seen good results across the board there. If you
Got
need
it.
speaking videos, then Cdance 2.0 is the industry. I wouldn't say industry standard, but it's the best model out there, and
Got
it
it.
does a great job.
Also, let's say, talking about this, let's say if I'm a newbie and I need help in deciding which models to use, I hope we can reach out to you and take your
Absolutely,
help
yeah,
for that.
absolutely,
Awesome.
absolutely.
So, with that in mind, the before we just wrap things up, I have already received a message from four of my clients who are actually working in the jewelry business, my friends, etc. And I think I'll be definitely sharing your contact with them. But if you have a short 30-second message for all the people working in the jewelry space who want to reach out to you, what would that message be?
I guess the only thing is, AI is here, and a lot of people might have told you that it may not work for you. I would just say that that probably is not the case. You just have to figure out what your identity is, and then have a partner like us or anybody else who can help you rebuild that identity with the new AI ecosystem, or within the new AI ecosystem. You
Got it.
had the identity before AI, you will continue to have that identity in the AI realm as well. You just need a partner good enough to understand your brand and understand how AI works and bridge the gap. That's it.
Absolutely. I think Lamina is gonna really help many more people in this space. So, with that in mind, I think Deep, really thank you for sharing your insights and experiences with us today. And I hope that uh, everyone has walked away with a clear understanding of where AI genuinely adds value for jewelry brands and where caution is required, and how teams can build workflows and balance creativity, speed, accuracy, along with brand storytelling. So I think with that in mind, thank you everyone for joining us today, and we're looking forward to continuing the conversations. For more details, please look at the description and at the comments below. And I think we'll be sharing Deep's
We'll
contact
be
in case.
sharing some of these workflows as apps. We already have some of these workflows as apps. So we'll be sharing the links. And Akhil, you can probably put them in the comment section as well. So everybody can come back and try them out.
Absolutely, I think that should be all. Okay, cool.
Thank
Thank
you.
you everyone. Let's wrap up.
Thank you. Bye bye.